Making an Impact with Dr. Scott D. Congratulations, Scott. I know you were just honored and awarded and distinguished at the 2023 CVM Research Day.
Yeah, Jim, good to be back on Swine Web. I've been out of the loop down in Florida, hanging out for a while, but I've been watching the daily publications. Looks like it's very active site. So congratulations to you and your team, and thank you for the opportunity to jump back on to the Swine Web. I think it's a lot of fun. So this is a really good story, and I'm really proud to be part of it. So thanks again for the chance to be here today.
Yeah, well, as you know, the swine industry happenings, it's up and down across the board of everything going on. And when we get to honor great people like yourself, we want to talk about that. Now I'll get to Florida maybe a little bit later, but let's talk about this award. What
Yeah.
does it mean to you? What was it about?
Oh gosh, I tell you what, this was a real special award. It came from my alma mater, the University of Minnesota College of Veterinary Medicine. That's where I went to vet school, graduate school. That's where I was trained, and that's where I taught as a faculty member and did research as a faculty member. So it's part of my DNA. And so when the college reached out with this, I was very surprised. I didn't even know it was happening. It was just like, oh my goodness, how nice is this? And so I was very happy about it because it came from where I came from. It's like old home week, so it was really nice.
So can you talk about what the award is?
Well, I remember when I was faculty there, they had a research day as an annual event, probably at many colleges, vet schools, and such. But in Minnesota, it's an annual event, and they honor professors who have done a good job in the college. They honor graduate students who have done great work with their programs, but they also reach outside and they talk about alumni who have been impactful, as well as industrial companies that have supported the university. So I remember winning some of the faculty awards along the way years ago, and but this was a new one for me. This was where I'm on the outside now, and so they're bringing me back in. So it was really fun. It was this Distinguished Research Alumnus Award, which again they give out once a year to one person. So with all the great people that have come from the University of Minnesota College of Veterinary Medicine, it's a real honor, and I was real happy to get back on campus. It was a sunny day, a nice spring day, and I really had a good time. The program was very professional.
It was like a homecoming. I know we featured it in the Swine Web Daily, a great photo of you with the award. Now, with any award, there's a lot of work that goes into your craft. Discuss some of the work that led up to achieving the award.
Well, the big thing I appreciated from the nomination was that it came from the swine medicine faculty. So Tom Molitor, Monsi Turamaray, Maria Peters, Cesar Corzo, Andres Perez, John Dean, Maxim Sharon, all of these, Jerry Torson, all of these really high end, impactful people came up with this nomination. So that was really, really nice, first of all. And I guess they based it on the work that's been done with transmission of viruses, like we've talked about many times, you and I, and to your membership, and biosecurity, which we've talked about too. And so it was a work that had been building since basically, gosh, I think since 2000 when I came to the university and started studying first transmission and biosecurity. So it was a very, that's 23 years of work still going on now in Pipestone. So yeah, there was a lot of history behind the award, which makes it really important to me.
What stands out to some of the work that you've done?
Well, I think there's like three buckets of the things I've done that I think are really showing their value today in swine production, and it's like mechanical transmission of disease, so fomite based. So we did all the work on the snowball. We've reported on that in your discussions we've had together. You know, trucks, people, fomites, boots, coveralls, all just the mechanical movement of viruses in the landscape, particularly in cold weather. So that's like probably phase one. And then phase two was the aerosol work that we did. So if we start with the mechanical, that's like 2000. Aerosol started in 2004. And I worked with Andrea Pitkin and Satoshi Otaki. And we started airborne transmission and prevention through filtration. So that's like layer number two. And then, as you know, we got into the feed side of things. And I was in Pipestone and identified feed as a vehicle for virus movement. So you start taking all of these pieces and putting them together in a comprehensive program. The results have been outstanding. And that's what really makes me happy. It's not just the publications, it's the actual helping farmers that the work is actually doing. So that's what it's kind of all about. Knock on wood, it continues, but I'm happy so far.
What was it like being honored with Molly Mccue?
Molly Mccue, Dr. Molly Mccue is the Associate Director of Research at the University of Minnesota. And so she's a globally renowned equine scientist in the areas of genetics and musculoskeletal diseases of horses. So she's a serious player as a scientist. And so even though we had nothing to do with our respective species, the fact that Molly was there and along with Tom Molitor was there to kind of deliver the news, it was a big deal for me. So, you know, if you're going to play in the big leagues, you might as well play with the Yankees, right? And to me, those players, those people are big timers. So it's nice. I appreciated what they did and what they said.
Let's just backtrack to Florida for a minute, Scott. You had me jealous. Where in Florida is what were you doing?
Well, I think we reported in December, I was taking a kind of a half-time appointment at Pipestone and kind of transitioning out of the day to day. And my wife and I go to Florida and Destin at the Panhandle there in the Gulf every year, and we like it there. And so we just went down there and stayed for 3 months. Caught some rays, had a good time, but I was doing a few things professionally as well. So I'm kind of in this transition mode of not going cold turkey right away, but just kind of easing down the trail, delegating authority, and trying to be a good mentor. So that's what I was up to.
Yeah, just enjoying life and then back to business here now. So research, can you give us a research biosecurity review?
Yeah, I think, right now biosecurity is like the buzzword in the swine industry. And I went to ASV. I think I saw several reports on the swine web about biosecurity. So it's a big deal. Everybody's working hard on keeping diseases out. And I think that's a good thing because the more we do that together, the better it is for Pipestone, the better it is for Christensen's, the better it is for everybody. So if we all work together on this, it's for the better. And but I want to throw out a challenge, I think, to the industry because the stuff I was hearing, it didn't have a lot of data. So if people heard Gordon Spronk's talk, one of the keynote talks on Monday morning, you saw a lot of data, you saw a lot of numbers, you saw statistics, you saw publications on disease eradication and disease prevention. That's where we have to go. We have to be really careful that we don't overconclude because we don't have a big enough N or we don't do the stats. I'm a little worried that some of the stuff in the background is not as good as it could be. And so, I think we all have to raise our game, including us. We have to continue to get better. But I liked the approach. We were talking a lot about biosecurity, but I wasn't all that impressed with what I was hearing. So I don't mean to sound egotistical, but I'm just thinking of the farmer. And if I'm going to put something in place, I want some numbers behind it. So
Yeah.
I
So you're
think this,
happy that it's a priority, it's top of mind, people are talking about it, but sometimes you need a little more action and data behind what we're talking about to get to the correct result, right, Scott?
yeah, I really think this next generation approach that we've delivered the message on with mechanical aerosol and feed, that's the ticket. And I think we all have to kind of get on the same plane or boat or train or whatever and follow it along. And I don't think we need a whole lot of new science. I think we've got what we need to employ. I just think we have to put it in place. And if something new comes along, like when the feed thing happened, we'll figure it out. People will figure it out. We'll come up with a new plan. But I don't think we need a whole lot of new science on how to prevent virus introduction to farms. I think we already know that with, the 20 plus years that we've worked on.
So since you've introduced the like the feed concept, what have you heard or seen?
Yes, I think since we talked about, as you and I talked about last summer, the incursion of Seneca virus into the neutral country, the negative country from the positive country, that publication, I think, has kind of quieted the masses as far as the risk of feed. I think that was pretty convincing how that happened. And I think that's kind of shut down the argument. And now I think we have to take, if you go into a farm, are you look at your mechanical biosecurity plan? What are you doing right? What are you missing? Do you have an aerosol biosecurity plan? What are you doing right? What are you not doing? Then do you have a feed biosecurity plan? So I think you have to look at it in this comprehensive way, because if you kind of skip a step here and there, you can easily see how viruses could enter your pig farm. So I keep coming back to that approach because I think it's very comprehensive, it's very science based, and there's great data in the field, from what's happening in Pipestone and some other companies. It's actually working. It's not just a scientific experiment anymore. It's actually working, but you have to pay the dues to sing the blues. You have to do it right.
So I think Gordon is now part of the National Pork Board team. I think that was announced yesterday.
That's very good news. There couldn't be a better person at the table to represent vets as well as the farmers. So I was very happy to hear that as well for Gordon. I know he worked really hard trying to get into that role, and he thinks that's where he can bring value, and he clearly can. So that was really good news, not just from Pipestone, but to me from the whole industry.
The industry. And so closing on the biosecurity, the next generation, what does this mean for the future of swine farm biosecurity?
Well, it means that we know what we need to do. And it means that there can be a very nice list that's quite concise. And it means that the veterinarians and the producers have to get going if they're not already on top of this and make changes, implement the interventions that have been validated, that have been published and repeated and are working in the field. It's not just, again, an experiment. There's a lot of data out there and on large scale commercial production where we're seeing, for example, in Pipestone last year, 2022, 52 filtered farms, no infection with PRRS. That's never happened before. And so if you can keep 52 farms that are of 3,000 to 10,000 sows free of PRRS for a year, that would have been a pipe dream. But now it's happening. And so I think that's what we have to see. We have to see the data that's coming out of Minnesota on the MinShip, the weekly reporting. There are some really significant reductions in incidence in PRRS and PED that certain companies are reporting. And so you can't fake that. That's real world.
So let's get to the fun stuff, Scott. Let's kind of wrap on the retirement update. I know you're still doing great things in the swine industry, but how has the part-time retirement been for you?
It's been really tough, and I'm not part-time. I was supposed to be at 50%, but my workload is higher than that. So I have to do a better job of controlling my own destiny. But it's hard because there's so much good stuff to do. And especially if you're hanging around in Pipestone, there's so much going on. And as well as the industry, I'm involved in a lot of things with the AVMA, the ASD. It's hard to say no, but I have to do a better job of saying no. But it's only been one quarter, and I'll work on it. But it's been fun for sure.
Just don't say no to us.
No, never, never. No, anything you want to visit about, I'm happy to. But I got a big value. I'm not going to just come up and blow smoke. So
What have you enjoyed most about retirement? Just being able to go away and soak up some rays, or
I've really, and what my original plan was to go like to halftime, and so you'd work Tuesday, Wednesday, and half a Thursday. Then from Thursday afternoon all the way to Tuesday, you're kind of off the grid, and that worked for a little while, and I really enjoyed. That was really fun because I've never had that opportunity before, but I kind of let it, some things encroach on that, so I have to do a better job of just controlling my own destiny. But that's what I've really liked. And plus, I've been with my wife a lot more. So we've had a lot of fun in down in Florida, now back in Minnesota. So here we are.
well, again, Scott, congratulations on the Distinguished Research Alumnus Award at the 2023 CVM Research Day.
Thank you. Really credit the University of Minnesota College of Veterinary Medicine for the opportunity. And then again, thanks to you, Jim, and the Swine Web for getting a chance to visit about it. It's a special topic. So thank you for a few minutes.
Thanks, Scott. Keep up the good work.
Thanks.